Hello friends, in last video we saw how to install OVM Oracle Virtual Machine on a 32-bit Windows 7 laptop, and then we installed Ubuntu 16 32-bit on that OVM. That installation I did without network to show if you get the ISO and the OVM installer from somewhere and you want to practice it and install on your laptop, how will you do it? And in this video, we are gonna see how to log into the server which we installed using putty client, that is the SSH client. So let's start. Okay, so see, I'm gonna log in with user one account which we created on the server, and I'm logged into the server, and it's saying to use sudo command to run any of the root commands. So let's do sudo su hyphen to switch to the root user. Now let's see what all interfaces are configured on the server. So we'll do if config hyphen a. So if you see, you can see there is one interface enp0s3, and that interface does have an IP that is 10.0.2.15, but you would not be able to log in with this IP because this is a NAT IP, and if you want to log in through putty as such client from your laptop to the server, you would need a host only network IP. So for that you have to configure an interface, and how to do that, let's see that now. So let's power off the server to change the settings, and then we go to the settings, and then we go to the network, and there if you see there is adapter 1 which is showing as NAT type, and this was the adapter we were seeing in an if config output which was having the IP. But like I said, this being the NAT interface, we won't be able to log in with the SSH client using this interface, so we would have to add another interface. So go to adapter 2, check on enable network adapter, and then we have to select the type as host only adapter, and that is what we need for SSH client to communicate to the server, and we'll hit OK, and then we will power on our machine again. And there we have the login prompt again to log into the server. So let's log in. So now let's switch to root again and see how many interface it is showing us now. Let's do if config a again, and if you see there is another interface added here which is enp0s8, but that is not showing any IP against it, so we have to configure that interface for the IP. So how to do that, let's see that now. So we will create a file etc network interfaces.d, and the interface name enp0s8, and here we would put all these entries which I'm making. Okay, for address we would have to go to the global tools, and we have to see what IP address we have there, and if you see here, it's showing us 192.168.56.1, so we will choose an IP from that subnet. So my default interface had .15, so I'm using just .15, and we'll give the net mask as 255, 255, 255.0. So our interface file is done now. So now we will restart the network so that the interface comes up. So we will do etc init.d networking restart. And if we do if config -a now, you will see that it is showing a IP against the ENP0S8, also the IP which we just configured. So now let's see if we are able to connect to this IP uh, from putty. So I have downloaded the putty client from the Google. You can also just search for putty and download it. Now let's put the IP which we just configured, 192.168.56.15. And if you see, we got the login prompt from the server. So let's use the same user and log into the server. Okay, so we are able to log in through putty now. So now we don't have to go to the console or log in on OVM directly. You just power it on there and we can log in from the putty client to our server. Now we will see how can we clone the machine from this server which we just created if we want to create similar machines. So let's power off the machine. But before we do the cloning, I got to change a setting on my existing machine, which I have to do because my laptop is a 3 GB machine, and if I install another 1 GB machine, I can get into the issue. So I'll be reducing the RAM of my existing machine before I clone it. And if you see here, it is showing me the RAM as 1024. Change that to 512. Hit OK. Let's reconfirm. Okay, it is showing 512. Confirm. So let's clone the new machine now. So I give the name Ubuntu 02 to this clone machine and hit clone. So now if you see the name on the OVM, it's showing as Ubuntu 02, but we are not gonna see that as a host name because that is something which is being copied from Ubuntu 01. So let's power on this machine and we'll see what all changes we have to do after the cloning. So now we got the prompt, and if you notice, it is still saying as Ubuntu 01. Like I said, on the OEM it is saying Ubuntu 02, but in actual the host name will still be Ubuntu 01. So let's log in with the same user which we created on Ubuntu 01 machine during installation, user1. So if you see, the hostname command is also showing the hostname as Ubuntu 01. So we will change it by modifying etc hostname file. I'm sorry, I should have used either sudo or would have switched to root. So let's use sudo and modify the file Ubuntu 02 and done. Okay, so if config A is also showing both the interfaces, so we created it on Ubuntu 01, so that is copied over, but we have to change the IP for this server so that it does not conflict with the 01 server. So let's do that. And now let's restart the network. Okay, by the time network restarts, let's start Ubuntu 01 machine also, and we'll try to log into both the machines simultaneously at the same time. Now, if you see, we are able to log into .16 IP server, that is Ubuntu 02. But if you see, the name is still Ubuntu 01 because to change the host name in Ubuntu, we have to restart the server, and we have not done that so far. Now, if you see, we are able to log into the other machine also, .15. So we are on both the machines right now, .15 and .16, but at both machines it is showing the name as Ubuntu 01. So we got to reboot the second machine, which we just cloned. So let's reboot it. Okay, so now the server is rebooted, and if you notice on the console, it is showing as Ubuntu 02. So hostname is changed. So now let's log in again with putty. I'll be saving the session for the servers. So how can we do that? If you are interested, you can see that too. So I'll give the IP here, and I'll give the name, that is host name here, and just save it. And once you double click on the saved session, it will open up the prompt like this. And double click, and there we are. So we are able to log into both the machines now, Ubuntu 01 and Ubuntu 02. So friends, in this video we saw how to configure the network, the host-only network on OVM, and how to connect with putty SSH client on the servers. And then we saw how to clone the machine if we want to create the similar type of server on the OVM. And before that, we saw how to reduce the RAM on a server or on a machine which you just created on OVM. And then we created a cloned machine with the original machine with same settings, same RAM and everything. And we logged into the both servers simultaneously with the IP using putty. Okay, next video we will see how to install the server with network. So the previous one which I installed, like I said, I installed without network, standalone. That is, after the download I disconnected the network. There would not be much differences. There are some options which would be changed, so I'll be trying to explain those options, and I'll explain the options which we went by default or whatever we saw on the installation. So we'll try to explain all those options. So for now, thank you for watching.